Okay, you are on the TinkerCad homepage. It may have signed you in automatically, but if not, as a reminder, you click on the sign in here in the corner. So click there if you need to. And then click on the sign in using social providers. Go ahead and click there. It's in blue underneath this box there. And then click on Google, which is right here. And it will sign you back in. So you are on your TinkerCad kind of landing page. We're going to do kind of our first group lesson together. So what I need you to do is click on Create New Design. So please click there. And it will load in a blank page for you. We are going to be making a simple robot face to practice some skills. So what we do first is just rename it. So click up here into the title, and we're just going to name it Robot, and then enter to get out of there. So we played around a little bit last week, so hopefully you're comfortable with what it looks like. Today you're going to stick with me, and what we're going to do first is grab a box from over here and drag it onto our work plane. And it should be looking like that. We do want to resize it. So remember, to resize, you need to click on one of these little corner boxes. So I click on my shape, and then see when I hover over, they turn red. That's how I know I'm right on top. These numbers also pop up, and that tells me the size. It's 20 by 20, which is 20 millimeters by 20 millimeters. So I'm going to click on my lower corner box. This is the one I chose. And I click down and drag and get it to look something like that. We do not want to make it taller because otherwise our next step won't work. So don't click on this top one, leave it, and just drag the corner box and have it looking around that. So we can recolor it. If you remember, you just click on it and go up here to the solid and decide what color you like. I am fine with whatever color you want. I think I'm gonna go with purple. That's our school color. Okay, so I've got my robot kind of started. Our next step is to grab another box. So grab that box from the side and just overlap it on the corner. You can tell it's overlapping because I can kind of see those little lines right going through it. So be sure it's overlapping. And you're going to do that 3 times. I'm going to overlap on every corner. So grab one and overlap a little bit on every corner. So mine is overlapping just a little. I'm going to rotate around. Remember, you right click on your mouse to get it to rotate. I think mine looks mostly good. It's mostly overlapped. I can tell it's overlapped again because that little line showing up. So yours is looking something like that. And now we're going to turn those into holes. So what we're going to do is click on it and go and push hole. Click on it and go and push hole. Click on them, hole, and make sure you're clicking right on the red part. If I accidentally click on the purple and do hole, the whole thing's a hole, which I don't want. So if you do accidentally do something that you don't want, the easiest thing you can do is go right here in this toolbar and push the undo. Undo is super helpful in this because, of course, sometimes we make mistakes. So just push undo if something happens that you don't like. So right now yours should be looking about like mine. 4 boxes over the corner that I made into holes. Maybe you notice there's also this box option that's already a hole. But I wanted to show you kind of the longer way so that you're more familiar. Okay, so this is my favorite step. So make sure you're looking closely. What you're going to do is you're going to group it together. So what we do is we kind of click up over here, not on top of my shapes, but off of them. So I click on here off of my shapes, and when I click down and I start to drag my mouse, staying clicked, I'll see this box show up. So I want to make this box touch all of my shapes. So all of my shapes need to be inside of it. So what I do is I just click down and drag over top. So if you missed it, I clicked down off my shapes and dragged over top. And then when I let go, I can tell it's highlighted because there's a little blue line around my whole shape so that I know it's highlighted. What I want to do next is I want to group it. So up in this toolbar in the upper right corner, you'll see right here it says group. You can't see it until you hover over. So hover over and you'll see group and then push that button. When you push it, you'll see that those holes are now cut out as holes. So it's starting to look a little bit like a robot face. We're going to add some eyes to our robot. So grab a cylinder from over here and drag it onto your work plane. We are going to practice just a little bit of lifting. So if you remember from last week, to lift, all you do is grab this black teardrop and click down and drag it up. Drag it to approximately 10. You'll notice those numbers pop up. Drag it until it's about 10. If you can't get 10, it's fine as long as it's close. But all I did was clicked on this teardrop and dragged it up till it said 10. So I'm going to position that eye about where I want it. But I want two eyes. So instead of doing all that over again, I'm just going to make sure my cylinder is clicked. And then I'm going to go back up to this toolbar near the undo button and click duplicate. And then once I duplicate, I have two, but they're in the exact same spot. So I have to drag one over to the side. And then I'm going to position my robot eyes where I want them. Once I position my eyes, I am going to make those a hole as well. So I'm going to click on the cylinder and make it a hole. Going to click on the cylinder and make it a hole. Again, make sure you don't click on the whole shape and make it a hole. If you do, you just do undo and make sure it's just the eyes. Now I'm going to repeat that step from earlier where I clicked off of my shape to group them and dragged over top. So remember, you click off and drag to get that box to show up, and I put my shape inside of it. And then I let go and I go back up to this toolbar where it says group and I push group. Okay, so there's my little robot face for practice. I'll give you a little bit of time to work on yours and then I'll be around to take a look.